Hey everybody, we're gonna do the pick video today, and I'm helping out with this. Normally Katie does it, but we've had a couple full days, and I'm gonna do the pick video this time. So I'm not near as good at it as Katie is, but you'll still get the same information as before, and hopefully we'll be able to provide a lot of details about the pups that are maybe not necessarily as visible in the playtime videos that we put together. So we'll go ahead and get started. We're gonna start with the girls first. I'm gonna pull them over here and let you take a look at them. Right now they're all pretty tuckered out. They've had a fun morning playing and wrestling around with each other. They've had the good breakfast, and we're actually just getting ready to head out to the vet for their first round of shots and their wellness checks. So, hi Mr. Blue. He's gonna steal the show for a second. But let me just take this over here really fast and show you what we have. We got these guys all hanging out. We got Mr. Gray, we got Mr. Orange, Mr. Brown, Red, there's Pink, and Mr. Green hanging out by Mama. We got Miss Yellow over here. So they're all just tuckered out. Mr. Blue just woke up from his little nap, so he's gonna steal the show for a second. And then over here we got Miss Purple. She crashed sitting right down by me. So, okay, let's start the video here. Say good morning, Miss Pink. Huh? Good morning. Say good morning to everybody. So, here's Miss Pink. We're gonna show you her markings. We're gonna put the weights and whatnot on the website. We've got all of those figured out. We're gonna just put those in the email and send that out with everything else that we email out to everybody. So this video is gonna be more about some of our observations about their personality and their current colors and markings and things like that, and where they're at. But she's doing really well. I'm actually gonna move the camera a little bit so you can get more of a straight on shot. Let's try that. Okay, I think that's a little better shot for getting a view of her. So here's Miss Pink. She's doing really well. She's probably the assertive one of the girls. They all kind of take turns wrestling around with each other and whatnot, but I would say Miss Pink is the one that I would say is the assertive one out of the three females from Fern. And Yellow and Purple are not timid, they're just less assertive than what Pink is. So, and I'm gonna just tip her up for the camera and show you her chest. She's got just the slightest highlight right in here, and so you can see that a little bit in the camera, and that may be one of the markings that's going to develop a little bit more as she grows up and her adult coat comes in. Right now we just have their puppy coat, which is so soft and so fun and whatnot, and so we've just got her puppy coat at the moment. And I'm just going to show you her paws. This paw's clear there and solid on this paw as well, and then her back paws are looking pretty solid, and that paw is looking pretty solid. So she is a mostly solid pup. She has just the slightest bit showing up on her chest, and let me just look under her collar a little bit. Sometimes with our lines we get some markings right under their chin in the collar area, and at this time I'm not seeing anything that's really definite there. And I would have to go back and look at the earlier video to see how she looked at birth, because sometimes that shows up a little bit more. So she's really sweet gal. They're smart, very playful, love to cuddle, and she probably wants to go back with her siblings. So I'm gonna go lay her down and we'll start on the next pup. Okay, here's Miss Yellow, and she's doing really good too. She's pretty mellow at the moment, being just woke up from her little morning nap, and so she's doing really good and growing really well. Her and Pink are almost identical in size and just about an ounce apart from last we measured. Oh, we got Purple waking up too. Hi Purple, how are you doing? You want to steal the show? Well, it's Yellow's turn right now, okay? It's Yellow's turn. I know, we're so good friends, huh? Yeah. Okay, so I will tip her back a little bit and show her chest to you. We've got her chest looking pretty solid right now. There's just a few faint hairs right on her kind of collarbone area on her chest, and then I'm gonna tilt her back. Look at her neck. We've got some highlights right under her collar area, so she may have some markings gonna come through there. And then on her, oh, pups are getting my Ziploc bags out of my back pocket. We actually take some fecal samples in with our vet appointments to check them, and these guys found the Ziploc, but you can't play with those. You can't play with them, not a toy, you'll choke. Okay, give them to me. Good girls, good puppies. I gotta hide those better. I'm gonna put those up high here. There we go. Okay, I'm sitting down, pups. Don't let me sit on ya. Okay, here we go. Back to Miss Yellow. She's been so patient with us, huh? All these interruptions from her sisters. So, back to her. Just looking at her paws, her front right looks clear. Front left looks solid. And on her back right, we are getting some definite highlights there around her toenails. And then on this other paw, just a couple of lighter ones from her left paw there. So this is Miss Yellow. And perhaps, since I have these other girls trying to steal the show, I should put them all three together so you can see them side by side and make note of any differences as we do so. Hi, Miss Purple. Hi. Hi, girls. Hi. Yes. Yes. Oh, kisses. So many kisses. Okay. Look at the camera. So these are the three girls out of Fern. We got Purple, Yellow, and Pink, all here side by side, and they're all great pups. They're doing really well and very good gals. So color wise, maybe if I get lucky, I can set them down here and you can see their colors on their back a little bit as I turn them around. They're quite even as far as their coat colors go. There's not a real drastic difference between these three. Maybe if I back up a little bit, they'll come forward. Come here, Purple, your turn to come into camera too. So we got these three, and they're pretty evenly colored. I would say, if I had to pick, maybe Purple is a tad bit lighter in this light from my angle. Their coat color actually changes quite a bit depending on the angle that you're looking at them and some of the lighting. But at the moment, they're actually pretty consistent. Purple's just maybe a tad lighter, and pink maybe just a little tad darker than the others. So that's the three gals side by side. Now we'll do Miss Purple's solo part of the shot for you, and she's doing really well. We've always made note of her. She stands out. She's got her little spot up on her left shoulder that's healing up well. As it's been going, we were curious how the hair would grow back. I'm just going to get a little bit close up of that, and it's starting to grow back. Some of the hair that's coming in is actually quite a bit darker than the rest of her coat color, and we're curious to see that may be the coat color of her adult coat. And so we're going to be curious to see how, as she gets her adult coat, if that will blend in or if it will continue to stand out. But there is hair starting to grow in over that little wound that she had, and so, but she's doing really well there. So okay, Miss Purple, we're gonna do you next. I'll tilt you back up on your back. So temperament wise, she's pretty even with Miss Yellow, so she's not timid, but she's not as assertive as Pink is. And so just gonna tip her back. I'm not seeing any real defined highlights on her chest there. I'll tip her head back, and I'm not seeing any real defined markings on her neck. And so on her toes, we'll look at those front ones. She's solid on her front left, solid on her front right, and then she's got some very marked back left toes. So that's going to be one of her defining features as she grows up. Oh, she's just giving me so many kisses right now. So many. Yes. Yes. Am I tasty? Yeah. And so, and then her back right paw is solid as well. So that's Miss Purple. And she's doing really well, growing very good. And her spot on her left shoulder's healing up well. Shouldn't have any problems with that. We'll be curious to see if that's a cosmetic thing that will stay with her over the years, or if her coat color is going to match that, and then it'll just blend right in. So, and she's doing really well that way. So that's Miss Purple. Okay, we'll start with the boys next. I'm going to move the camera over to get a shot of the boys. They're all laying down together and just snoozing away. This will be a good spot to pause the video and get a shot of all the boys side by side. And of course, since I moved, some of the pups woke up. But we got Mr. Orange right here, Mr. Brown, we got Mr. Red, Mr. Blue, and Mr. Green's just soaking it up back here. So he's all tuckered out from playing. So Fern's doing really well. She's just taking a break herself. So she's loving her time with these pups. Doing super good that way. So, okay, I'm going to stop the camera, and we'll start the individual views of all these pups. Okay, Mr. Blue is the first one awake as I walked back to set the camera back up over here. So we're going to choose him next to be the highlight of the show. So he's doing really well. We'll get you an overall view of his markings so you can get an up-close look at where things are at with him at the moment. Oh, you're gonna give me some puppy hugs, huh? It's so fun when you lay the pups back on their back. Oftentimes they'll just use their paws. Just hold on to your hand, give you this nice little hug. Huh, yeah, so sweet. Oh yes. Okay, so we'll lay him back, and I'm just looking at his chest, and at the moment he's got a couple of spots right there that may be a little bit of a highlight, not a real defined marking there. And underneath his collar, I'm not seeing anything real defined there. So we'll tip him back up to the front and show you. We got front paw here that's looking pretty solid, and front paw on this side looking pretty solid. And then on his back toes, he's going to have a definite marking on a couple of these back toes on this right side, and then just a very slight highlight on some of his left toes. So this is Mr. Blue, and he is middle of the range as far as temperament and energy goes, and so he's a middle of the pack type pup. So he's doing very good, growing well. Okay, we've got Mr. Green coming up next. Some of the other pups are starting to wake up from their naps, and so they'll probably be joining the video here shortly, trying to steal the show. But we've got Mr. Green coming up, and he's doing really well. Out of the personalities, I would say Mr. Green is one of the more timid ones, and so when we do something new and he is experience something new for the first time, or hears a loud noise or something like that, sometimes he's a little bit more reserved and perhaps not quite as assertive as some of the other pups are, till he has his confidence about what's going on and can kind of assess the situation. So he's been a little bit timid when we've had a loud noise, and he'll kind of back up a little bit, but he's a great pup. And so I'm going to tip him back and show you his markings. So on his chest, he's got a little bit of a marking that's pretty well centered on his chest. So that one's going to be a definite marking for as he grows up that way. And as I'm going to tilt his head back a little bit, and I am seeing the throat marking still there. Oh, be nice, Purple. He's not a chew toy. And so we've got the throat marking there right underneath the collar, and so he's going to have those markings there. And then on his toes, we're solid on this front paw, and then solid on this right front paw. And then on his back paws, he's got some defined markings there that he'll always have, and that will be one of his defining features. And so that's Mr. Green. He's just doing really well and growing up really well. He's a really good pup. So off to the next one. Okay, next up we've got Mr. Orange here, and just woke him up from his little nap. He's doing really well, and we'll show you some of his features and markings. So on his toes, right front, he's clear and solid there. Left front, he's also solid there. And on his back paws, we've got just a little bit of a highlighting on a toe back there on his right, and then on his left, a little bit of a highlight there. And so as we roll him back to his stomach, he's going to have a definite marking there on his chest, and then on his neck, there may be a little bit of a highlight there underneath his collar area. And so, yeah, he just wants to lay here and soak up some snuggle time, huh? Good boy, yeah. So that's Mr. Orange. Mr. Orange, personality-wise, is the middle of the pack. Not real timid, not real assertive either. So he's kind of the middle of the road as far as energy levels and personality goes. Okay, next up we've got Mr. Brown here, and he's just waking up from his nap. He's a little bit sleepy, and so we'll show you his markings that'll kind of be some of his traits. And so left front paw, he's solid there, and right front paw looking pretty solid there. And then on his toes, if Miss Purple will leave him alone. Miss Purple's trying to eat his toes. Huh? Hi, Miss Purple. Hi. Hi. So we'll show you his toes here. So on his back left, he's got a couple of marked toes there, and then on his back right, he has definite marked toe and then a kind of a highlight on another one there. And so that's Mr. Brown's markings on his toes. I'll lay him back to his tummy, show you his chest. He's got maybe a highlight there where his cowlick's going to be on his chest. And then on his throat, at the moment, I'm not seeing any real defined markings on his throat, but their coat is very thin at this age on their underside, and so as they get a little bit older, some of those markings may start to manifest as their adult coat comes back in. So that's Mr. Brown. As far as personality goes on Mr. Brown, I would say Mr. Brown is the assertive one of the group. He's not the biggest, but I would say he is one of the ones that wants to be the boss a little bit, and he's more assertive and whatnot when he initiates some of his play and things like that. So that's Mr. Brown, and he's one of the more assertive ones in the group. So okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay, next up we've got Mr. Gray, and I just woke him up from his nap, so he might look a little groggy for the moment. That's okay. Probably hear Mama Fern over here getting a drink of water. So Mr. Gray, he's one of the bigger pups, and we'll give you a look at his markings. I would say we've got a chest marking that's going to remain there. Not a very big one, but he's going to have a marking here that'll probably be more visible as he grows. And then under his collar and neck, I would say he's looking pretty clear there. And so, oh, sneezes. Huh. Gonna give us a little sneeze. Let's take a look at his toes. And we've got this toe that's looking pretty solid. So his back paws are looking pretty solid there. And then his front right and front left are both looking pretty solid as well. So probably just that little chest marking that's gonna stay with him as he grows up. And Mr. Gray, he's middle of the road personality wise, and so he doesn't seem to be timid, doesn't seem to be really assertive either. Energy levels and whatnot is very middle of the road. So that's Mr. Gray. And we've got some of these other pups who are starting to wake up from their nap. They're going to be crazy on the camera when they wake up from their nap. Huh, we've seen that with the other videos, huh? Okay, Mr. Gray is all done. Let's go to the next one. Got Mr. Red here coming up next, and we'll show you his markings and provide some insights on him. So if I lay him back, oh, big yawn, huh? Sorry to wake you up from your snooze, little man. So from his chest, he's actually looking pretty solid on his chest still. Maybe a little bit of a highlight here. And then if I tip his chin up a little bit, there's probably going to be Might just be a fold in his skin that I'm looking at, that's kind of a highlight there, but there may be a marking in his collar area on his neck. So, and then we've got his paws. Let's do those next. So his back left and back right paws are both looking pretty solid there, and then his front left paws are both looking pretty solid there. So maybe just a little bit of a highlight underneath on his neck area is all that I'm seeing really at the moment, and it might just be a little bit of a fold on his neck that's standing out, but that's Mr. Red for you. And he is middle of the road personality wise as well. So he's not super assertive or super timid as far as that goes. Energy and personality wise, middle of the road for Mr. Red. So, all right. So these are all Ferns pups. It's been a little bit of a drizzly morning, so we haven't been outside to play yet, but we've got this little covered area that we built for them so they can still get their wiggles out. Huh, Fern? Huh. They can still play and still have some fun even though they can't be under the sunshine. So we'll just give you a little bit of a shot of all these pups. They're doing really well. Couldn't be more pleased with how they're doing, and we're just getting ready to head off to the vet, get their first round of shots done and have their wellness check done. So these guys are, some of them are still waking up from their nap here, and some are gonna go back and finish their little nap. Got Miss Yellow here, Miss Pink, right by each other. And before I end this little video, I am gonna just mention one little thing. I'm gonna kind of step over here to the side and demonstrate something. When we feed these pups, we actually whistle, so it kind of gets their attention, and it also helps start them on some recall conditioning with some training. And Miss Purple and Mr. Orange are gonna wrestle over there for a minute. So I'm just gonna demonstrate this little whistle and show you what we have as far as that goes, and let you watch them come up. So hey puppies, hey puppies. I know, Fern, you come too, huh? So that's just a little bit of a demonstration of some of the recall conditioning we do. Most people can whistle, and it's a great thing to teach your dog recall early on from a safety perspective. That's your fastest way to keep them out of trouble, is to have them recall to you. So we start that early here with our family. Every time we feed them, we whistle, and they begin to associate that with positive reinforcement with some tasty treats and food for them. So I'm just going to do that again and kind of demonstrate that little event for you again. Hey puppies. So you can see they come when we got the whistle going, and so that's what we've been working on. So hope you enjoyed this video. Hope it answered some questions. If you're still trying to narrow it down a little bit between pups, let us know which pups you have specific questions about, and then we'll kind of go from there with you. So thanks for watching this video.